Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global TV Live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. The political crisis in Rivers State appears set for a resolution after the parties involved signed a peace deal at a meeting held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja on Monday. The meeting, called by President Bola Tinubu, was attended by Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his predecessor Nyesom Wike, and other political leaders in the state. Aside Fubara and Wike, others who signed the resolution document include the PDP chairperson in Rivers State, Aaron Chukwuemeka, and the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amaewule. The resolution was also signed by Rivers Deputy Governor Ngozi Odo and a factional Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Martin Chike. The APC chairperson in Rivers and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, also signed the document. President Bola Tinubu has said the federal government is taking measures to alleviate the high cost of transportation by granting waivers to operators in the air, road and rail transportation systems. Tinubu gave the assurance during a meeting with members of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. According to a statement issued by his special advisor in media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, the consideration was as a result of the challenges faced by travelers during the festive season. And in a recent development, some youth suspected to be from the northern part of the country on Tuesday took to the streets in Shagamu area of Ogun State, protesting what they termed injustice in the Kano State governorship election. The youths, majority of whom were commercial motorcyclists, joined by some teenagers, stormed the streets to express concern over growing tension in Kano ahead of the Supreme Court judgment on the legal battle challenging Governor Abba Yusuf's election. The Supreme Court has fixed Thursday for hearing on the disputed election. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja upheld the sack of Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party, declaring Nasiru Gawuna of the All Progressives Congress the duly elected governor. Earlier, the judgment of the State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal had declared Gawuna the winner of the state governorship election held on March 18. The northern youths residing in Shagamu called for caution in handling the governorship crisis to avoid bloodshed. The Speaker on the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has said the 2024 budget would be passed on Saturday, December 30th, 2023. He said this as the House resumed plenary on Tuesday, December 19. This was as he passed the message from Committee on Appropriations to various committees of the House that they must conclude and submit their report of the budget's defense by agencies of government by 8 p.m. today, 19th December 2023. The Speaker said other budget-related activities like compilation, processing and harmonization would take place in between. Global Television will keep you up to date with the details. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has granted former terrorist negotiator Tukur Mamu access to his doctor. Mamu had, in a motion, sought the leave of court to have access to his doctor following his deteriorating health conditions. He also asked the court to order the Department of State Services to take him for surgical procedures as recommended by both his Egyptian and Nigerian doctors. The federal government, in a counter-affidavit through its lawyer, David Kaswe, opposed the application. Kaswe stated that the DSS had a functional medical facility and a team of medical doctors who could handle his case. He then urged the court not to grant the application looking at the circumstances of the charge against him. Ruling on the matter on Tuesday, Justice Inyang Eko asked Kaswe if the defendant was entitled to his physician. Gunmen on Monday kidnapped the High Court judge in the Oron local government area of Akwa Ibom State, Justice Joy Uwana, and her driver. It was gathered that her orderly was killed in the attack, which occurred along Uyo Kobo Road. The chairman, Oron branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, Torosco Eyene, who confirmed the development on Tuesday, said the judge was kidnapped along Okobo axis on her way to Uyo after a court sitting. He disclosed that members of the association have scheduled a meeting with the State Commissioner of Police and the Department of State Services on Wednesday. The State Police Public Relations Officer Odiko Macdon described the incident as unfortunate, adding that the CP has ordered a discreet investigation into the incident. And in order to ameliorate the housing deficit in Nigeria, the Comptroller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, has announced the provision of 5,000 housing units for officers across the country. He made the announcement at the inauguration of housing scheme and symbolic handover of residences to beneficiaries and members of the Nigerian Customs Cooperative, which held at Ajoda in Ibadan. Kike Lomo Okere has the details.
The Comptroller General of Customs says the significant move is to address the housing struggles faced by its officers, as well as enhance living conditions for the officers and men of the Nigerian Customs Service. The Customs Chief reiterated his commitment to empower as well as invest in its personnel to ultimately propel them to give their all in the service to the nation.
It is with great pleasure that I extend a very sincere welcome to each of you on this momentous occasion, marking the inauguration of our housing scheme and the symbolic handover of residencies to beneficiaries, members of the Nigeria Customs Service Cooperative. Today serves as a very powerful testament to the unwavering commitments of Nigeria Customs Service management to reinforce the welfare framework for esteemed officers, their personnel, and their families. This significant strides towards the provision of secure housing is a strategic consolidation of past initiatives that has been put together to complement the overall welfare and well-being of our officers and men.
The housing scheme includes diverse residences such as 2-bedroom terrace bungalow and 3-bedroom terrace duplex strategically located in Lagos, Kaduna, Kano, Asaba, Masaka, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. The high point of the event was the symbolic handover of the housing units, which will help to instill loyalty, motivation, and sustain productivity among the workforce. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
The Niger State Governor, Mohammed Bago, has presented the 2024 budget estimate of 613.3 billion naira to the State Assembly. Bago, who described the budget as a budget of the future, said the budget will drive the government's program for a new Niger State. The governor presented the budget on Tuesday to lawmakers at the budget presentation where government functionaries and the 8 emirs of the emirate councils. Bago announced to the audience that he should henceforth be called the farmer's governor, in line with his determination to transform the state into a leading farming sector. The Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly, Sarkin Daji, in his remarks assured the governor and audience that the budget will be thoroughly screened and passed within 1 week. And in primary health, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has disclosed plans to review activities of primary health care and routine immunization. This was disclosed at the quarterly review meeting held in Abuja in collaboration with the National Primary Health Care Development Agency. Fauzia Lukman has details.
The quarterly reviewing meeting is in conjunction with the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery to make significant contributions to the development and strengthening of primary health care in Nigeria. The meeting saw major traditional rulers in attendance, with Dr. Saad Abubakar, the Sultan of Sokoto, in his remarks, saying,
"Issues of vaccine like the HPV and whatever it is, We will, at the closed door meeting, discuss such things, see what we can do, because there are already some controversies, people writing things in the social media. So at the closed door meeting, inshallah, we'll discuss some of these issues, see how we will also arrive at what we should tell our people. We are the representatives of the people.
Speaking on reducing diseases through primary healthcare services, the Minister of Health and Social Welfare said preparations are underway for retraining 120,000 frontline health workers.
Some of what we are going to do in the period ahead includes building the frontline health workforce. We are planning, in fact, as we speak, preparations are underway for retraining of 120,000 frontline health workers at the primary healthcare level. We're expanding the primary healthcare facilities that will receive direct facility financing from roughly about 8,000 at the moment, which we would work to make functional to start with, and expanding them to 17,000, almost 18,000 by the end of 4 years.
Meanwhile, the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aina, told reporters that the agency is on health system revamp project, adding that barriers need to be removed for the usage of the services.
There are accessibility issues. How do we make sure the services are taken to them and they can reach it? For specifically to outbreaks that you mentioned, the responsible thing to do is what we are doing. We are mounting outbreak responses in terms of campaigns, but it's one thing to do campaigns, it's another thing to do a good campaign. You cannot do a good campaign without collaboration with the communities, that give you access, but that also mobilize the people to come out and receive the trusted interventions.
The critical role of traditional and religious leaders cannot be underestimated, as it serves as a bridge for engaging the people at the community level. Fauziya Lukman, Global TV News.
And at least 4.7 million girls have been vaccinated against the human papillomavirus, also called HPV, in the first phase of the vaccine rollout in Nigeria. The rollout, which commenced in late October, aims to reach about 7.7 million teenage girls with the life-saving vaccine to protect them against cervical cancer and other related diseases. The Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Muyi Aina, disclosed this at the fourth quarter 2023 review meeting of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery in Abuja. Aina said as of last week, about 4.7 million teenage girls had been reached with the vaccine across 14 states of the Federal Capital Territory, stating that although there was an initial strong pushback by anti-vaccine campaigners, the traditional leaders ensured accurate information reached parents, guardians, and adolescents. And the former Minister of Power and Steel, Olu Agunloye, may soon face charges of corruption and forgery as he spends his 5th consecutive day in detention after submitting himself to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Agunloye surrendered himself for interrogation on 13th December, a day after he was declared wanted by the Commission over corruption allegations regarding a failed multi-billion-dollar Mambila hydropower project. AFCC sources say the charges have been drafted and will soon be filed in court and served on the former minister. The sources further expatiated that he was declared wanted because he jumped the administrative bail granted to him. No fewer than 61 migrants, including women and children, have drowned following a shipwreck of Libya. The International Organization for Migration, IOM, said the boat had set off from the Libyan city of Zwara with about 86 persons on board. The route offers migrants entry to Europe via Italy. The United Nations agency said most of the victims of the accident were from Nigeria, Gambia, and other African countries. IOM spokesperson Flavio Di Giacomo said more than 2,250 people died this year on the central Mediterranean migrant route, adding that a dramatic figure which demonstrates that unfortunately not enough is being done to save lives at sea. You're watching Global TV News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG. The news continues shortly, just after this break. On the foreign scene, an explosion rocked a fuel depot in the Guinea capital, Conakry, on Monday, injuring dozens of people, according to a doctor and local residents. The explosion, accompanied by a fire, occurred shortly after midnight in the administrative and business district of Kaloum, near the port, according to reports. The explosion sent thick black clouds of smoke into the sky on Monday morning as residents fled the area where the blast occurred. Witnesses said dozens of civil protection vehicles had reached the area, but Guinean authorities did not immediately comment on the situation. A man went missing and thousands of people in the Philippines were sheltering in evacuation centers today as tropical storm Jalawat hit the large southern island of Mindanao, causing scattered flooding and power cuts. The storm weakened as it raked across Mindanao after making landfall in the morning, but the state's weather service said the threat of floods and landslide remained. Police in Manay municipality, where Jalawat made landfall, reported one man missing at the swollen Kasoman River that bisects the coastal town of about 40,000 people. On the business desk, only 0.1% of targeted poor and vulnerable households have received the federal government's recently launched cash transfer of 25,000 naira per month. This is according to data from the World Bank's lead economist for Nigeria, Alex Yanet, during his presentation of the Nigerian Development Update. According to his presentation document, the federal government plans to make cash transfers to low-income households, paying 25% per month for 3 months. Senet disclosed that currently 1.5 million households have received money, and the program is expected to reach 5 million households by the end of December. The Senate has called for an independent budgetary provision for the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, by separating its budget from the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Chairman, Senate Committee on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organization Victor Ume made the call on Monday in Abuja while presenting budget defense report of the committee before the Appropriation Committee. He stated Nigerians in diaspora contributed to the nation's development maximally, adding that $24 billion was remitted to Nigeria in 2022 by Nigerians living abroad. The Nigerian Communications Commission has directed MTN Nigeria, Airtel and other telecommunications firms to fully bar phone lines without national identity numbers, and those with NINs have not those whose NINs, I beg your pardon, have not been verified. This was disclosed in a corporate notice that MTN Nigeria filed with the Nigerian Exchange Limited, revealing the directive from NCC and the attached deadlines for the barring in the statement signed by its company's secretary, Uto Ukwana, stating that it is part of an industry-wide directive that requires phone lines for which the subscribers have not submitted their NINs to be barred on or before 28 February 2024. We will now be joined by Kike Lomo for more updates on the business desk.
The Nigerian government has entered into agreement with Czech Republic to finance and support research, development and innovation projects in agriculture, mining and other general manufacturing, specifically targeting small and medium enterprises. The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, announced this development through its official X handle, saying this marks the beginning of the Delta II program, involving the allocating of funding to chosen projects and the formalization of the implementation agreement. Notably, one of these agreements include the issuance of production license for the establishment of a co-fertilizer factory in Nigeria. The signing of the bilateral agreement between the two countries took place at the Technology Orientation Center, NASENI headquarters in Abuja. Nigerian inflation rate is on the course to rise to its highest in more than 18 years in December. The soaring inflation is expected to spur the Central Bank of Nigeria to raise its benchmark interest in its next meeting. The Monetary Policy Committee last met in July when it increased the rate for the 8th straight time to 18.75%. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, consumer price rose to a fresh 18 years high of 28.20% in November, the same as August 2005, from 27.33% in October. The CBN says it will deliver aggressively interest rate hike to restore its credibility and bring down inflation. As 2023 draws to a close, stock investors are among the biggest gainers from the reform implemented by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, with the market value rising by over 11.6 trillion naira. The Nigerian equity market has outperformed African peers in South Africa, Kenya and Morocco, buoyed by reforms such as the removal of petroleum subsidy and liberalization of the foreign exchange market. This month, the Santa Claus rally came earlier to the market, pushing stock return higher and pockets of profit taking. The Federation Account Allocation Committee, at its retreat and meeting held in Asaba Delta State, shared a total sum of 906.955 billion naira to the three-tier of government as Federation accounts for October 2023 from a gross total of 1,346.519 trillion naira. This is contained in a communique issued at the end of the FAC meeting in Asaba. Gross statutory revenue, value-added tax, electronic money transfer, levy exchange difference, and augmentation of 60 billion naira. The federal government received 323.355 billion naira. The state received 307.717 billion naira, and the local government got 225.209 billion naira, while the oil producing state received 50.674 billion naira for derivation. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
And that's it on News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching. See you again.